wanted to talk about here. And I guess I'll talk about this just for those of you that have been in business for a while. And maybe you're wondering how much to charge. And so I want to talk about this just because it's been asked a couple of times this week as I've been doing interviews for freelance public health consultants. When you work as a consultant, how much you make is going to change depending on the contract, right? It's going to change depending on that. If it's a 10K contract, it's not going to be much. You might, it may be $50. It may be $125. It just depends on how many hours you're working. If it's a six-figure contract, okay, maybe you'll get 250, 350 there. So it really just depends. I'm going to just be keeping it real with you. If you're just getting started, you're going to undercharge. You're going to undercharge because you're not confident. You don't know what you're worth yet. You're not sure if you can do it yet. Even if you do a good job, you don't feel like you should be charging people that much. Let me tell you a true story. My former business coach, Tiffany A. Washington, love her to death, when I was getting ready to resign, I said, Tiffany, I don't even know how much I should charge them, right? So for those of you that don't know, my former employer is now a client. I'm actually training about that next Saturday. And so I said, I don't even know how much I should charge them, right? And she said, well, let's, charge them. She said, well, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to be the curriculum development consultant. I'm going to do some internal trainings with them. I'm going to do much of what I did before I left. There's nobody else that can do it. And she said, so basically they need you, right? And you have a skill set and da-da-da. She said, $300 an hour. You need to start at least at $300 an hour. And I said, I can't charge them. They are not going to want to pay $300 an hour, right? So they sent over the paper. They sent over the paperwork, and I was going back and forth like, oh, what am I going to put down? What am I going to put down? Am I really going to put down $300 an hour? I put down $250 an hour and expected a rebuttal. Let me say that again. I put $250 an hour and expected them to come back and say, we're not going to be able to pay you $250 an hour, Quisha. It's just not going to happen. Sorry. I put it down. I didn't hear from anybody that day. The next thing I know, I got an email with all of my documents telling me when my laptop and all my equipment was going to be, all of that. And I went back and I said, Tiffany, you won't believe this. Like, nobody said anything. All my equipment is being mailed to me. The contracts have been signed. And she said, we should have started higher. And it blew my mind. So I'm just telling you, in the beginning, you're not going to charge that much because you don't think that you're worth that much, right? Sometimes you don't know how much to charge. When I first started, I was doing curriculum development for organizations, and they were making a killing. Curriculum development, you can easily, on one CE, a highly interactive CE, you can charge anywhere from 5 to 10K for that. And I was doing like hours worth of curriculum for like 10K, 15K, and it should have been $40,000, $50,000 worth of work because I didn't know. A lot of times you don't know how long it's going to take you to develop a toolkit or, to develop a webinar content, whatever it is. But as you do the work, you will understand more appropriately how you should be charging. It's just part of the everybody goes through it. It's part of the territory. And now I even have like my contact at the my last employer that's now a client says, our business office called and said, why are we paying Quisha so much? We don't even pay the doctors that much. And I said, well, because the doctors don't know how to charge their work, right? So you will learn those things as you go. Another thing I'll say, and I'll try to wrap up because I'm going over. Yes, you are undervaluing yourself. That's okay. Is that you also will charge yourself depending on the budget. I don't really turn down money. If it's something I love to do, I'm not going to turn down the money. I'm working with a client right now, California Black Health Network. I'll be very transparent. They came to me and said, we need help developing our diabetes program. They told me about the intervention. They told me about the population. And they said, but we don't have that much money. This is our budget. And I looked at it and I said, well, this is what I can give you for $150 an hour. Okay. So I make $150 an hour with them. It's a retainer contract. It's not as much as I would like to make because now that I have a team and, people and equipment and all this other stuff, I would like to make more, but it's what I love doing. and I can do it with my eyes closed and both of my hands tied behind my back. So 150 is not that bad. And so it's not ever going to be consistent. If it's six figures, maybe I'm charging them 450 for that. It just depends on the project, and if you really want to do it, if you really want to work with that organization. I'm right now in the middle of securing a contract with the organization in Arkansas that I've been wanting to go to work back home in Arkansas for a very, very long time. Is it what I want? No. But I'm compromising because I believe it will lead to more business, as most of our business is repeat business. So those are the type of things that you have to think about there. So we have come to the end of the training. I want to give you some takeaway actions though, because I realize that some of you are ready to get started now, right? When I was reading the comments from one of the posts on yesterday, it was a lot of people like, I don't know where to start. I don't know where to get started. Okay, so if you're at that point where it's like, okay, I'm ready now to start the business, here are some things that I recommend for you. Okay, again, 6 more tips. 1, go secure your DBA, stands for doing business as, or your LLC with your Secretary of State office. Now, I got my DBA, I think it was 10 or 11 bucks in Austin. I got my DBA 3 months before I got my LLC. I'll never forget, it was October the 5th. I went and got my DBA. I hired a business coach, and I told my best friend and my husband, 5 years from now, you're going to look at me and you're going to say, Quisha, you really did that. You said you were going to do it and you really did it. I told him that October the 5th, 2019. I got my DBA because that's all I could afford at that time. In December of 2019, I asked my husband for $300 so I could go to the Secretary of State and register my LLC with Texas. Okay. Once you do that, apply for your free EIN. Go ahead and secure your free Duns and Bradstreet. So it's called Duns, D-U-N-S, or Duns and Bradstreet. It's kind of like your FICO for business. I really only needed to use it probably for federal contracts and when I purchased my vehicle, because I purchased a vehicle in my business's name. 4, reserve your social media handles and pages. Even if you're not able to do steps 1, 2, through 3, but you know you want to start business, go ahead and reserve the pages, the names, the social media handles. I would go ahead and reserve the website domain. So the website domain is like your www.mylastname.com or whatever that is. I always joke and say I'm going to buy my kids' names domains, and then if they start businesses, make them pay me to buy their domains back. And 6, hire a business coach. So I've had 3 over the 3 years that I've been in business. Again, it was the first thing I did when I got my DBA. I'm not going to say I had any success with my first business coach. The second business coach was a nurse consultant and phenomenal. She really skyrocketed my success. The third, I just mentioned Tiffany, again, phenomenal. She really has helped me for my business as well. I'm very transparent about my financial growth. And so in my first year of business, I made $6,000. My second year of business, I made $85,000. My third year of business, I made $230,000. Mind you, this is all working full time. And so you can see as that trajectory, there's been a lot of growth in a short amount of time.